Please continue.
Well, yes. And no correct Christian pastor. He said the priest or the rabbi is priest.
Yeah.
If you're Christian, you don't have a priest, you have a pastor. And the pastor is the one who leads the congregation. You got deacons and all this other stuff. So I don't think he went to church today. And with what he's saying, the church of the internet doesn't help you go to church.
Yeah, he never gave the denomination. So, yeah.
Well, he said he was Christian, and he went to a Christian church, and he didn't give, like, there's Pentecostal Christian, there's Baptist Christian, but I've never heard of a Christian church, even Baptist, Christian, Pentecostal, or any of these, put anything, talk about killing or put things about Jews. They would not say that, because they believe Jewish people existed. They believe in Jesus dying. And that's the biggest thing.
They all also believe in thou shalt not murder.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. And with him not providing the church or the Christianity or the branch of Christianity kind of believed in, makes it hard to believe that he actually went to a Christian church. Because it sounds like he's searching for something that's non-Christian to bring up a priest and get rid of him. And that's the priests that he was mentioning aren't priests that everyday priests. They are outspoken. They were unheard of. Like they're heard of because they're outspoken, but they don't make it for the majority of the people of the population. I don't think. I've never heard of any of those priests, Catholic priests or whatever priests.
60 seconds. 60 seconds.
So, otherwise, have a happy holiday. I wanted to ask him those questions. Like, I can't believe a priest would say that, or a pastor would say those kind of
Well,
things.
and thank you very much. First class.
Happy holidays, and wish everybody a new year and everything.
Yeah, thanks. First class escort VIP. And he'll be around the clubhouse street, so I'm sure you can find him. JCC, would you like to say goodbye?
Hell yeah. Happy winter solstice, everybody. Happy Merry Kwanzaa. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Everybody enjoy. And sometimes we do get people like with the last speaker that caused a lot of controversy and what I call a dumpster fire in this room.
Yeah. Are you going to try to have a respectful conversation, or are we going to act like fucking cunts already?
It's okay to snip it.
Please don't curse in the Christian room. I'm very respectful to anybody.
Awesome.
So let's answer the question that they ran from inside the other room because they're weak bastards. Not yourself, but the other ones who were inside the stage and on the panel. Where did all things come from?
Dang it, you couldn't even answer my question.
They're cowards, Jane. They're weak men. They're not men. They're trannies. Transformers. More than me.
We could do two paintings
I'm
on
friendly with
necklace.
Double Kitty.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Joey, just go fun with him and then Bloody Mary.
I don't try to force him to be Christian. He doesn't try to force him to be atheist.
We could do two paintings on necklace if you want to mix them together.
But he's not an atheist. And we must start to understand this. Anybody with common sense will not claim atheism.
I think he's an atheist.
No such thing as an atheist, Jay. Remember, you're a Christian.
Yeah, well,
No such thing as an atheist.
In the sense that there's no such thing as somebody who doesn't have a religion. I think everybody has a religion.
Facts. And that's the joke about it, right? So if atheism says that there's no God, so where did everything come from? Right? This is what a learned atheist will be able to address. Where did everything come from? Where did life come from? Can man create life? No. So where does that knowledge reside? They don't have it. So therefore that knowledge is higher than man. And no matter what you call that higher power of knowledge, it is your God. And this is the end of atheism itself. Then we can go to the agnostic question. We ask whether or not the doctrine, according to the doctrine itself, not the people, does it allow violation of women, violation of children, or homosexuality? Because according to the stats, homosexuality is against male nature and woman and female nature.
Yeah.
understand it's just obvious. No such thing as atheism, and agnosticism is like a cop-out because they can't answer the atheist question. You know? And you'll find when you start probing these people, most of them are Hindu. Santana Donald, stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of obvious the atheists didn't have anything to say. The atheist stated that, please, let's have a respectful conversation and don't be an effing C word and all this. And then he ran. No, can't take any pushback. Ran like a girl. See, this is the thing. We can't encourage these men to be so broken because if you encourage broken men break people. You see what I'm saying? So if they're going out in the world with these kind of weak concepts and these weak ideas that they hate the world because of it, or they hate themselves because of it, eventually they're going to push this anger out on the other people. There's usually going to be smaller people than that. You see what I'm saying? Not even just to say children, but smaller people.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Sound like you just woke up, Jay, man. You right?
No, I went to church and everything. I didn't just wake up.
Okay, nice. Yo, Cassine, you went to church, man?
Nah, my mom's one, but she told me I should be there.
Okay,
You
cool,
should.
man.
On Christmas.
I don't celebrate Christmas. I just receive.
Y'all found a origin of Christmas the other day. Well, yesterday, bro. It's Hanukkah. Same thing. Same exact celebration. Hanukkah starts on the first day of Christmas, December 25th in the evening. Because based on a war back in 165 BC, when they took back the temple of the Lord, right? It's in second Maccabees or something like that. It was the Maccabean War. And after they took back the temple of the Lord, then they dedicated the Feast of Dedication. And if you don't want to go into all the history, John 10 will show you exactly where it happened.
That's when it talks about us being gods in John 10, verse 34. I think later on, actually, yeah, but I digress.
All right, check. The Jews answered him saying, this is 33, right? This is when you were talking about what they call them gods. Let me go back a little further first. Feast of Dedication 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of the Dedication, and it was winter. Now, this is when Jesus was kicked out of his own temple. Now, when we go to 33, the Jews answered him, saying, for a good work we will stone thee not, but for blasphemy. And because that thou, being a man, makest thyself God. Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law, I said, ye are gods? If you call them gods, unto whom the word of God came, and the scripture cannot be broken, say ye of him, whom the Father hath sanctified and sent into the world, thou blasphemest, because I said, I am the Son of God. If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though you believe not me, believe the works, that ye may know and believe that the Father is in me, and I in him. Therefore they sought again to take him, but he escaped out of their hand. An interesting thing about this, bro, I had somebody in the room earlier who said they were God, and I kicked them to the goo, and I was like, yo, hop back up. And he just couldn't get it done, bro. He made the whole matrix. He couldn't get back up from the goo. What do you think about that, man?
He ain't using enough scripture on it.
Yo, I don't care how much scripture he got, bro. He can't get out that clubhouse school. He's not God. And the more people have to recognize that we ourselves are not actually God, but there's a higher power than man that is God. Because nobody wants to be a man no more. Because men are so derided in the news and stuff like by these weirdo atheists who want to have sex with men. And then we kind of accept it. You know? Oh, there's no God. Why don't you just have sex in the butthole? And this is what destroys people.
You funny, dog.
Yo, think about it. If you rich and you see all these happily married women around you, you can't hook up with none of them because if they get caught, you're going to get stoned or something. What you going to do? You're going to tell these women don't get married in the first place. and keep your daughters at home. They don't need a husband. They don't need a dad. You can take care of them. You know, you kind of have a whole access to these women, but at the same time, breaking down the men that are supposed to protect them. Now it's like, yo, I'm a rapper, I'm a singer, hop up. Let me get as many girls as I want. You know, or even as many boys as they want. These people are weirdos.
For that.
You know, it's
We
James
should
Baldwin
get
on
somewhere
steroids.
outside. It's gonna be a little chilly. I don't think it's too early for that.
Y'all ever watch James Baldwin going through the
I
hood
was going
in the Bay
to.
Area in I think it was California, San Francisco, sorry. When they first started doing all the migration, he was going around because the kids couldn't get jobs, right? She's at the YMCA, touching up little boys' faces. Don't worry, I'll find you a job. I'll find you a great job. Let me see them cheeks. Like, it was really sick. So it's like that on steroids. You get the fathers out of the house, move everybody to an overpopulated neighborhood, right? And you turn it to a rat utopia.
We'll do the heated
If you ever watch the Rat Utopia,
Okay, let's do Big
I
Star
think
Buddy.
Jane
We'll
probably.
do
I
the
think
heated
Jane, you
patio.
watched it.
Watch what?
Rat Utopia.
No.
It's on YouTube. It was a 1970s experiment where they showed how to control the population by using rats. So they would let them overpopulate, let them keep breeding. And at a certain point in time, because they can't expand, they're not going nowhere. They're just stuck within that same rat city. They eventually, like, they had these ones that call themselves the pretty ones that wouldn't, like, deal with anybody, just go for the food and hide out. And then all the mothers would be, like, living with the kids by themselves, and the guys are outside fighting. And eventually, everybody ate each other.
Yeah. Lovely.
Big Star Buddy. We'll do the heated patio.
Yeah, but they're doing it in real life. Because we look at it, right? Our fertility rate worldwide, except for Africa, is at an all-time low. Nobody's having more than one child, as far as families. And the nuclear family is so broken, it's like they've expanded this rat utopia from a small little experiment to city by city, state by state
contributions. As was also said,
That was one dumb motherfucker.
The longest.
4 years.
How that was 4 years? Are you talking to that guy a couple of?
Things been going with you though, Jane? How's things going with you?
That's
वो स्टार्टिंग ऐसे आपने बताया ना कि ये वाले वेंटर मोड में हुआ है सब अभी अलर्ट से उस टाइप से उसके अंदर मतलब एंड्रॉइड फोन
Look at this, Adrian. This chick told me that it's too early to come to my house. What do you need, like 15 dates to like be social? I don't understand. Like, I can understand like some concern, but I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference to me. It's like just want to do stuff. Okay, let's do the heated. Okay, let's do Big Star by you. We'll do the heated patio. Oh, we could also go ice skating. We could also do ice skating in Rosemont. Go to Rivers Casino. It's going. We could do this. We could do. If you want to be outside. I'm headed to the gym. Enjoy your mimosas. I'm headed to the gym. Enjoy your mimosas.
You dig? Like what y'all like, don't like what you don't like, so forth and so on. And if for whatever reason y'all decide to have another room, I'd appreciate it if you ping me in. I'll stay in the audience because I want to listen to y'all tell me what it is y'all like and don't like about men. Respectfully. Yeah, and all you men on this motherfucker that ain't got a vagina, no thanks for your contribution. I appreciate it.
I had a question.
I wish you many birdies in your life.
Ideas and solidify. These are cultural traits. Why is it that the tribe of Papua New Guinea takes skins of the hides of animals?
Fuck this Carlo, I agree with trash.
People. Why do they do that? Well, it was just a formulated practice. Same as why did we misinterpret our thoughts as from the gods? It was just a practice. It was a thing that we did. So it wasn't an invention that a man made up. I can agree with you. The power, the struggle of being able to manipulate people all comes from that. That's all a side benefit of all that. When the leader of the tribe had the success of being able to bring the tribe together so they could successfully eat or successfully hunt or successfully get a thing, and it was accomplished by manipulating people into doing a thing because of their beliefs and their religious ideas and concepts at the time, yeah, you're fucking right. It became useful on top of it becoming a cultural thing. But it's not like to say that it was invented, like some guy sat around and said, I'm going to make some bullshit up to control people. It doesn't work like that. It was deeply embedded in our culture. It was part of us, deeply rooted in our very fabric of being here.
It's so
Why
stupid.
these ideas and concepts came about.
Oh,
It wasn't just
I'm
made
headed
up.
to the gym. Enjoy
You
all
don't
my
wanna go
muscles. If you want to be outside.
Everything you just said, I agree
We
100%.
could also do ice skating. Rosemont.
I want to ask you this one question.
Okay, we'll do a heated patio. I don't think it's too early for that. I think we should meet somewhere outside.
Well, to everyone on stage, do you believe in the Almighty?
Oh, Joy, just more fun with you, maybe.
No.
We could do 2 paintings.
Creators. No. So who created you?
Question is malformed.
God gonna have answers, bro. They don't want you to do everything.
Hang on, the question is malformed because you're implying there must be a who in the statement who created everything, right? It is quite possible that there is no who. There is something that is not a who. It is an it. It is not a thinking agent, right?
Can I say something real quick, GC?
Yeah, go ahead.
I made no sense, bro.
So
Magnolia
here's the
Glen.
thing, as far as my limited understanding of the universe go, we don't know just yet. There might be a who, there might be an if. We don't know.
She's gonna die.
Everything posited by the Abrahamic religion specifically can be, because we looked at the universe, we did physical tests, and before anybody talks about spiritual nonsense, I'm sorry to say, Moses splitting the sea was a physical thing, splitting the sea in half, sending blights and plagues. We would see that in written history, and not just written history, turning an entire, the Nile turning into blood. You know how much iron is in blood? And if you can take that massive quantity of water and turn it into blood, we would still see traces of hemoglobin in the soil. Although everybody who talks about spiritual nonsense, it's kind of funny how everything God does, He made in the physical realm. Let's just say you're right. I'm a bastard who only thinks in the physical. Why does God do physical things?
I didn't say God, though. I didn't say God. I said creator.
Or whatever created the universe. Could be God, could be whatever creator. I'm gonna posit with you that there's a creator. Why can't I find the physical breadcrumbs to prove it? He operates in reality. He does things in our physical reality.
You can find the breadcrumbs because you can look at all little elements and let you know that there's the table of elements let you know that. Well, you can look at the pyramids. You can look at they say that you can look at the subscriptions that they have in these books with the philosophical books they have. The ether. Man is in our image. The Moors are descendants, for instance, Moors are descendants of ancient mound builders. The mounds are found all throughout the world. We know, and then you go as far as to the Library of Congress, where in the Library of Congress it say that Yaqub Kush created the. We talk about God, the source. The source, but created the heavens and the earth. The source, the lights in the sky. We cannot land on the moon. No. Now you're talking about cannot land on the light. Now you're talking about energy. I'm not talking about energy. About science. I'm talking about proving that. I'm talking about creator. Proving that the creator is not just like us. All you gotta do is talk about what you see. The creator look like me. My creator look like me. I don't know. Just talk base observation. My creator look like base observation. My creator had base observation. You will see that it's no
What's what?
I don't know. You just gotta figure out.
So if you guys are making a claim that there must be a thinking agent behind things that exist, what is the methodology to demonstrate that is the case?
Well, a lot of them were just saying, third month.
Don't everything got a function to it? Are trees just on the earth just to be a tree, or do it has a purpose?
When you say a purpose, because what it does is not necessarily a purpose, it is a function. Function doesn't entail necessary.
That's a purpose.
No, it just. No, function does not entail purpose. You understand that, right?
Why would you have a function without a purpose?
A purpose implies intent and thought behind it, right?
That's what a function is.
Okay, hang on.
Carlotta.
Prior to any thinking agents living on the planet, right? The plants and the fauna existed.
When we moving through this, go ahead. Order, go ahead. I'm trying to tell you. What he's talking about is there ain't a motherfucker trying to bring it out. It ain't no. No, you need to listen, bro. See, you cannot get that's I'm on top. That's something.
Your title,
What?
atheists,
Yeah.
low IQ,
Yeah, that's right.
monkeys.
You can read English. That's amazing.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Would you like to lick my pussy for this?
Lick your pussy. Nick, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah.
Good.
Damn, did you hear that, Nick? She asked me if I wanted to lick her pussy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
why
that
not?
too.
Wow.
Why not? Are you gay or something?
Am I gay?
Yeah.
Well, why would I want to lick your pussy?
Okay, I know it. You're gay. Okay. You don't have
Gay?
to be ashamed about being gay. You don't have to be ashamed about this.
Well, how do I know you're a real woman?
Okay, I'm gonna show you my pussy. Just 1 minute.
Holy shit. This is exciting. Nick, Muhammad, she's about to show us her pussy.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
I know, but it's the most exciting thing I've ever seen on Clubhouse.
Exactly. Where are you from?
Listen, before I answer any more questions, let's see this pussy.
No, not before. You're saying where are you from?
You're disappointing me now. Nick, Iqbal, Muhammad, Yoni. Oh, hi, Yoni. So, Hansine, welcome to Atheists. This is your Uncle Steve. I promise I'm not going to get angry. I'm just going to light a cigarette and drink a whiskey. Hold on, let me get my favorite Zippo lighter. I've been working in Social Security disability compensation for over 20 years at the law offices of Dr. Steve Appel. I've also been a moderator, a podcaster, bringing together diverse perspectives. And I don't know. I'm Jewish, but I don't believe in God. My wife left me. My children don't talk to me. And I got to deal with clown house people that say they want to show me their pussy. But at the end of the day, as they like to say, you don't actually get to see it. You just get to sniff it. Smells pretty good to me. See, honey, that's called comedy.
Comedy.
That's right. Nick, what are you doing today?
I'm just chilling, watching some football. Probably gonna run some errands later, but
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
it is a pretty good impression, though.
I am the super mod. I am a fascist. Welcome, Zorro.
Hello, bro.
Iqbal.
I am Nick.
How about the Cindy Sample one?
You know, I took in Nelson Apega under my wing. I've been building homes for over 25 years. You know, I'm not just on here talking. I'm on here working. I have men at construction sites right now. Building. I'm not full of talk. Grant Cardone's not trying to sell courses and educational materials to make you rich. We're working. We're doing real things. This is Cindy Stumpo. I am complete.
Bro, are you high?
High on life, Iqbal.
Okay, how about the Pepe impression?
Hold on. The FBI crime statistics clearly show that 80% of all violent crime are committed by ADOS. ADOS. Hold on. I'm Corsican. I'm not Mexican, and you're a racist for calling me a wetback.
Okay, how about this one? Roger. Let's see you do that one.
Now, the thing that liberals like to say about the gun control argument, it's that they're hypocrites. Yeah, I mean, I love listening to him deconstruct and slow down. Yeah, a room and make fun of people, laugh at people, have fun. I mean, I would work for him. I'd work with him. I mean, I think he's awesome. But I think the criticism of anybody that comes to Clubhouse to use this stupid app is worthy of criticism, even if you're the smartest person on the app, because you're still choosing to waste your time unproductively by having unrecorded, pointless conversations to just tickle your fancy. That shows that you're in many ways immature or irascible. I mean, it's the devil within us, or it's, we like to play games.
Here's the thing. Sometimes I'll be working in the background, just need background noise, because I'll just need a good laugh. And like you said, Edmund, sometimes on here, it's just free entertainment. I laugh my ass off. Like, when you go in these rooms and you troll, like, Prince or Nora Bandula or whatever, I think it's hilarious when you go at it with him.
Yeah, Prince is a worthy person to go after, and I don't know, because he's like the alpha homosexual jihadist, where he's pretty queer, but pretty extreme jihadist. So he's a dangerous person, and look, he's an example of somebody that's been put into Europe. I don't know if he's academic or if he was there because he's a refugee, but
yeah. Like how he lives in the UK. Okay, yeah.
Dude, I mean, people in Germany, everybody's just pissed. It's like, Jesus Christ, we got millions of like hardcore Orthodox Muslims living with us now, and they fucking suck.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, Edmund, is they're having problems with them everywhere because they can't assimilate themselves with others. Like, they took over Canada. You should just go to Canada for the hell of it and see, like, Trudeau took everyone in. So let's take refugees from these fucking shithole Muslim countries. And now it's backfiring big time. Because what happens is these doctors, what they'll do is whatever, if you get a colonoscopy at 45 and your tests show up fine, right? No big deal. They will set up another appointment with you, a follow-up, right? Just to tell you that, Edmund, everything's good, but because they can charge the government again. These people are so fucking crooked.
Yeah, I saw something on X today that said if you have a judgment by the Department of Justice, you can pay your judgment to a non-government organization, one of their approved NGOs. It's like, what? What?
Yeah.
You make restitution to the government by sending the money, not to the Treasury, not to the government, but to a non-government organization that they support? Like billions and billions in settlements have gone to NGOs to help destroy the country. I mean, I'm telling you, like, if Trump doesn't get in the battle tank, into the bunker, and like wage war against his own government, I mean, then he's the biggest hypocrite of all time.
Well, here's the thing, Edmund. Do you know the lady? She used to come on Debate the News, the Caribbean lady from Canada. Yvonne.
I don't know her that well. No, I don't know that name. Either.
Oh man, I was like, damn it! I thought you'd have a good impression of her.
Dude, Jay Bresca. I love Jay Bresca, like the way he does the room, but like there's other, like I heard him yesterday. He creates controversial titles just to get, the conflict, but then he leaves, and I don't know. I just think anybody. Anyways, I mean, I wouldn't judge. You can't really judge people, Basically, you can't, especially if you did the crime and paid the time. You're pretty much back to even. Camper van welcome.
The thing is, Edmund, is we all fuck up and we've all done stupid things. If you haven't done a stupid thing that you regret, you're not human.
Exactly. But I mean, there are certain degrees where you can judge a person and say, okay, you murdered 3 people and you're still a prick.
Right. Like, I mean, we all did stupid shit as kids. I remember almost getting suspended in school because I called my friend a honky, and like the principal called me racist. I'm like, my friend is white. I am white. It's not a racist word. And like, I had to call my parents and explain to them like that I wouldn't say racist things. My dad's like, well, is the kid doing his homework? Yeah. Is he getting decent grades? Yeah. So why are you bothering me? But nowadays, you say that shit, oh God, I don't even want to know what happened.
I know.
Now.
I got pulled into the dean's office because I called this Russian kid in high school a fat ass. And he's like, he called me fat ass. I was like, I didn't call him a fat ass. He goes, well, what did you call him? I said, I called him a dumbass. He goes, you fucking liar. You called me fat ass. I was like, sir, I've been speaking the English language my whole life. This guy just learned it a couple days ago. I called you a dumbass. He goes, you fucking liar. You piece of shit liar.
So here was funny. We were in, God, I think it was like elementary school or something. And we were making fun. We were on a field trip, and we were in Dearborn, which is a lot of Muslims. And there was another school there, and this kid was like crying or down. My friends and I were just fooling around, saying stupid shit at the table while we're eating lunch. We're like, oh, he's probably on his first period, and we're saying stupid stuff and pointing and laughing at him. And like his close, you got a problem? Like, yeah, we think it's hilarious. And then all of a sudden, like 3 of his classmates come up and like approach my friends and I. There's 3 of us, and they stand up, and we stand up, and I like pushed one of the kids, and we were gonna start fighting. The teacher like broke it off. Well, these kids were, I'm pretty sure they were Muslims, right? And I'm like, nowadays, if that fucking happened, do you know how much trouble I would have gotten into? Because someone would have videotaped it, right? And what they would have shown is me hitting him, even though he hit me first like 3 times. Local racist white man, Metro Detroit, assaults an Arab, race hate at its finest. You can't do that shit now.
Rachel is here. Rachel. Honey, did you still want to show us your pussy, honey?
I think she left. No, there was one girl that was saying that on here, Rachel.
Oh, okay, got it. Did you guys see it?
No, she did some kind of GIF.
Oh, okay, got it.
If you're an anti-Semite, you say GIF, which is the J word.
You know, I actually discovered the guy who created it actually wanted it to be pronounced GIF, and then he acquiesced because everybody pronounced it wrong, and so that's why there's 2 different pronunciations.
Oh, wow.
Edmund, you remember that house Pepe used to do, like White America? That one was hilarious. I would just sit in the background at that one and just laugh all the time. That one was so funny.
I agree. His rooms were really, really amazing mixtures. and it was definitely like Howard and Robin Quivers, you know, and having the extreme, you know,
Well,
mixture.
how about this one, Edmund? Can you do your jazzy impression?
Hello? 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 Man, I've heard her in a room where somebody's talking shit to somebody and then she goes, "Oh, now you got to deal with me, motherfucker. You can fuck with me now. You can talk all your shit to me." Like, she can go intense, insane, where you're like, whoa, there's a reason why you're single. Whew.
Yeah. Well, it was hilarious when she would go in the Pepe rooms. And remember when they exposed the guy, the rapist, Europa, the pedophile?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, there was a guy that got exposed from. Remember that guy Applied IQ? I don't think he's on here as much. But he exposed this guy, Europa, and found out like he was a child molester or whatever. And Jazzy did a room on it, and she's like, "Shut the fuck up, Monica, you dumb bitch!" And because Monica kept trying to chime in, I was laughing my ass off the whole time.
You know, it's funny. It's funny that you asked me that question because there was a time that I posted a risky picture on here when I was drinking. So this is why, like I told you yesterday, I gave it up because I did stupid things like that.
Yeah, drinking and talking on here, I think are they go together perfectly. And I think a lot of people on here drink, especially if it's a Friday, Saturday. Yeah. If it's a Friday, Saturday night, the drinking intoxication goes way up. The level of toxicity and extreme violence of death threats on this app goes way up. You know, most of the rooms that we may frequent do not include constant chronic death threats. But if you go into, I hate to say it, N-word rooms, you will listen to a constant stream of intense verbal abuse. It's, you know.
I did that one time.
Grayson's rooms keep banging.
Yeah, Cray 100.
Fairly recently.
Grayson's rooms are hilarious. Like, keep banging 2.0. That guy gets clipped like every other week.
I know, that's really amazing. And I bet you he actually has donors. Like, he probably has, you know, contributors that keep him going.
He always puts his cash out there. And he literally charges people $20 to throw him out of rooms. And people pay it.
That is really smart.
Yeah, he's an intense person. Like, have you ever heard him bang? Like, I've gone in his rooms and banged with him where two people just scream at each other, you know? I mean, the rooms where there's 15 people screaming at each other, I've recorded a lot of those because they're like the craziest mashups you could I mean, it's impossible to ever duplicate that. And you can kind of hear what some people are saying, but it's like what you would imagine an extreme schizophrenic's mind to be like, you know, totally unwired, just exploding with delusions. And I mean, it's like a form of artwork in many ways, these bang rooms. I mean, you don't really hear it too often anymore, but there's nothing as crazy and as toxic as a social audio bang room.
You know, some of the rooms that I just dipped my toe in to see what they're saying that have a lot of vitriol are the ones where it's like men attacking single moms. Like, let's say they have a room called like single moms with kids are the dregs of the dating pool or something. One time I saw that. Or you have these supposedly, allegedly feminist rooms that you go in and they're just bashing men. And then like those rooms get so contentious. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, there was one, I think his name is like Apollo. He used to go on like 74th and Nig Cells or 45th and Nig Cells. That guy was hilarious because him and the Fashions would go at it with the Somalis. Those are hilarious rooms too.
Yeah, there is a pattern I've detected. I would call it like the cat and the mouse pattern, where you get a team of mods that invite people into a room. They play with the people that come in like a cat playing with a little dead mouse. They paw it around, and then everybody goes their way. So the rooms like Sig, you know, who I like, but he does these like ratchet rooms, you know, where it'll just, like I'm saying, like it's a cat playing with a ratchet mouse. They beat it up, and then they all have a good time. It can go on for hours and hours, you know, because what you're doing is you're demonstrating the emotional instability of people. And yes, a lot of these mothers, you know, do have a severe emotional instability. And they are coming into the room probably looking to date or for emotional validation or something. But the conflict, you know, that the moderators create is it's authentic and inauthentic, you know, because it's created. Like it is a shtick, or it is a category of content that the creators are creating. So you draw people in, and without their participation, there is no content, and it's not a specific category. It takes, you know, El Normo and somebody, you know, somebody.
Do your impression of El Normo.
That's a hard one. I mean, it's like
It is hard to do one of him.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You know, I don't know. Anyways, what's his name? What's the Soren? Yeah, Soren. So him and Soren are like a good example of how, I don't know, I just feel like rooms have patterns regardless of the content, regardless of the category. There's a pattern. There's a patterning to these rooms. And, you know, when if you're transcendent and you don't get, like, the thing about the green bean is it's like a joke. You know, I mean, if you're a polite person and you know how to have a conversation, like the green bean is irrelevant. It's the neurodivergent psychopaths that can't stop talking, you know, and just talk over each other, and they're just there for the dopamine.
You know, and then there's people like John Lee or whatever, or other people that like people just beat up on him constantly all day long, and he just keeps coming back for more. And people are like, I don't understand that. And I'm like, well, it depends on how he grew up. If he grew up like with a lot of criticism and like being, you know, torn apart or something, like that's familiar to him. That's why he keeps coming back, because he's like I've been there, like addicted to the negativity, you know. And I think a lot of people are addicted to that type of getting beat up because of past trauma, let's say. I don't know. But yeah.
How about that guy like TC? They would always model off and debate the news, and I used to like go at it with him all the time. But they would always, Jonathan Bing would always drop me to the audience when I would go at it with him.
Yeah, I like TC. I think he's a good speaker. I don't agree with, you know, what he says and how long it takes him to say what the fuck he says. But now I think I heard him like a couple weeks ago, and he's gone hardcore Trump. And
No, he realized. I think he came to his senses, and I told him. I said, "Look, man, I get not liking things about Trump, but I go, there's nothing good about Kamala. Nothing."
Yeah, I mean, anyways, I'm just saying, like, it's interesting to hear somebody who, he's not like a Thugger Biden or a Gagosian, you know, but he was adjacent or close to being, you know, very liberal and left. But then, you know, then you hear him, it's just so funny because some people I just call it like a psychotic index, where like at like a chameleon, you can just change your color immediately. And next thing you know, you're so conditioned on listening to TC talk, and then you hear him, you're like, this is the exact opposite of how he was just a couple months ago. This is insane. You're like, this guy's even crazier than you could possibly imagine. Like, some people are just so far in the spectrum that, like, I don't know, they're very mercurial.
But have you met, remember the lawyer who used to come on Debate the News? What was her name? She was from New York.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I hear her on X all the time. She is the same, you know, lame.
Did you know that Donald Trump did this? And I'm like, yeah, so he did this, and let me talk to you and tell you this. Oh God, she was so annoying to listen to.
Yeah, Honey Badger is here. So what are you doing today, Rachel? Because my time is limited here. I'm gonna make a run to the gym.
Today I'm just, what is today? Sunday. Sorry, I stayed up late last night. I'm just cleaning around my house. And I don't even have my car because my mom's borrowing it. So I guess I'm just stuck at home. But yeah, I started looking up that Adrian Dittman stuff online to see like why people are convinced that it's Elon Musk. I mean Elon. I said Elon with a G. Okay. Anyway, so it's kind of interesting. It's like, how do people, like, it's just interesting if he's not really Elon Musk and he just somehow propped himself up so much. Like that takes some skill, right?
It's not. It's 100% Elon Musk. It's not some random fucking guy. Like, it is 100% Elon Musk. I mean, even if you go to adriandittman.com, I just pinned the link, you can watch the videos from last night that I filmed. And there's moments where he just breaks character. And then it's like, he's talking like Elon. So it's definitely him. There's just so much evidence. And it doesn't really make a difference. Like, I mean, once you listen to it for long enough, you're like, yeah, this is fucking Elon. And I just find it amazing that, you know, the CEO of one of, you know, the biggest companies in the world. I mean, Tesla's market cap, is it over $1 trillion now? I haven't looked, but the point is,
I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, when you're, yeah, I mean, he's being pegged as like the richest man in the world, and his influence with Trump. To me, this is like a huge national security issue where you have the Howard Hughes of our modern day military industrial complex hyper-verbalizing every night about, you know, about mostly anyways, the point is, it's like you can see the instability in the person, you know. He's kind of frail, he's kind of fragile, you know. He has his, I'm just saying, like, from a psychological analysis perspective, to know that that is Elon, and eventually it'll come out one day when you have all these recordings of a person. The fucked up thing about the internet is the real world is the real world. When you meet somebody in the flesh, there's only this thing called the now. But when you have a library of hundreds of videos of you hyperverbalizing, acting a fool, you lose a lot of credibility as the richest man in the world. And, you know, Jeff Bezos, you don't hear Jeff Bezos running his mouth like a petty little child every night on X. I mean, last night he was actually contemplating like not doing it anymore. He's like, I think in the future, I'm just going to post news articles, and I don't know if we're going to continue the conversation, but I love what I've created here, and Blythe has clipped all these videos, and fucking this guy has done this, and it's almost like pathetic, like beyond pathetic, you know. And that's why I'm addicted to recording it, because I know that once he goes offline and he goes back into his real world and where you're really rich, you're gonna regret ever coming on the fucking internet and running your fucking mouth. And that's why I'm doing this, and I won't stop doing it until he stops doing it, because to me, this is fucking gold. This is blackmail oil, you know. Like, this is my biggest find ever on the internet. Roger Mayhem is an insignificant nothing compared to recording somebody worth $400 billion. And I'm not trying to blackmail Roger Mayhem. I'm saying that Roger Mayhem is an interesting debater on the internet. I really like his way of debating. It's funny, it's smart, it's logical, it's common sense, it's patriotic, it's American, it's constitutional, it's conservative, it's fiscally libertarian. The point is, Elon is all those things, but when you're that powerful, that rich, I mean, again, he's doxing himself by doing what he's doing. And it's not like his credibility is going to go down the shitter when you hear him when you just see a library of hundreds of Elon videos, and you're just like, man, like, maybe this guy is not like the genius that he's branded to be. Maybe he's like a highly neurotic, depressed person with bad health and bad habits. you know, you can really analyze somebody on what they say and how they act when you have hundreds of hours of them running their fucking mouth.
Yeah, it was fascinating to meet last night, and I did try to go up on stage because I just wanted to ask him some questions. But at first I was like, oh, I kind of like certain things he was saying about these small changes you can make over time or whatever to lead to a better life. But then when he's talking about his personal experience and things he's done, like when he's talking about getting drunk and the stuff he did on blockchain, I was like, wow, dude, this is like somebody who thinks they have all the answers to how someone can better themselves in their life, but yet he's doing stupid things. And then sharing about it on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to me like a wicked, evil person. He just seems to me like an aloof, oblivious person that is never really, he'll never give you what you want. You know, he's very, I would call it like hyper competitive and selfish, but in a toxic way. You know, like but see, then the thing is, you go far into the left side of the spectrum because technically Elon is a liberal and a Democrat, but because his efforts to be a part of the administration were so rejected, you know, he went hard right, but he also doesn't like a lot of the left wokest stuff. But the toxicity on the left, when you compare it to how Elon is far more corrosive, far more toxic and destructive. So all you can do is support the person who is, you know, anyways, I support him, but at the same time, you're like, I wish he was more mature, more, you know, because even last night when he's giving his life advice and he's hyper verbalizing it and spitting it out as if you can like give people life advice in just a couple minutes, you know, and expect that that's, like you said, he knows everything, the summation of all the advice you could ever try to transmit. So it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, to me, he sounds, it's crazy.
Sorry, I was going to say, plus, even the advice he gave, the thing I wanted to bring up was just he wasn't taking into account maybe like people who maybe have been through a lot of trauma, or like people with kids, or people with like schizophrenia. Like they can't. It was like as if it's a one size fits all. That if everybody just did these things, it would work. But like sometimes it's not so black and white as that. But being aloof and not having a traditional maybe upbringing or having luck or opportunities that other people haven't had, he just hasn't had to dig into the mire. He hasn't had to like, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it definitely smacks of being aloof and unaware of like the circumstances that normal people encounter every day.
It's easy to be on X, you know, in your office, cooking a steak, pontificating. But, you know, how is he going to deal with 30 million unemployed Americans? What is he going to say? Got to suck it up. Got to fucking just, you know, pick up rocks if you got it. Got to do whatever you got to do. It's like, you know, like, is he? I mean, because he's German, you know, and I'm just saying it'll be very interesting to see if he's so stupid to come online and keep voicing his opinions under a pen name when everybody fucking knows it's him, you know, like how, because he's gonna end up fucking himself doing what he's doing, and I'm capturing it. So to me, like, I'm literally creating content, recording, because these are unrecorded rooms. Just go on YouTube and type in Adrian Dittman and you'll see all my videos. I've got, you know, 20 YouTube accounts tracking him, recording him, clipping him, live streaming him. And so when it comes out that it's him, and like there will be a news article saying beyond a reasonable doubt, Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk. Like, I mean, I hope they use my videos, you know, they're public, you know, they're not private, and I'm not selling them. So I would love to sell them though. But anyways, it's going to come out eventually that Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk. And I mean, even last night, you know, he's like, people fucking have these schizophrenic conspiracy theories that I'm fucking Elon Musk. You know, it's just like, it's funny. Like, I kind of like what he's doing because it is very funny, but how far is he going to play into it? Like, in my opinion, this is like schizo multi-personality, you know, he's on the spectrum, and he'll go on and on about how he's autistic. You have no fucking idea what my fucking childhood was like, how I was, you know, I mean, it's like, woe is me, you know, like I've recorded him so much where you're just like, you love him and you hate him, you know, you really do. He's extremely annoying. And in fact, when you listen to him, it took me a while to like emotionally adjust myself to listening to him, because he can be so like annoyingly stupid, you know, and you're just like, God, this is so embarrassing that this fucking guy, without him, Trump probably would not have won. Probably not. They would have controlled X. So? Yeah.
You think like he was?
I fuck 100% X. The fact that he broke the censorship on X is the biggest thing ever, because it really exposed that the FBI and the CIA and the White House were all integrated in censoring anti-platforming. He fucked these Democrats harder than anybody. Nobody has done what Elon's done. So it's a huge, huge thing. I mean, I guess you can't really underestimate it. Like, without Elon, Trump probably would not have won. Like, I guarantee you that Elon was that 4% swing, 5% swing that got Trump in.
You know, and also if him doing this, I mean, you're saying it's pretty much him, but like, he probably, just because he's so rich and powerful, he thinks, I can do no wrong. I'm untouchable. Like, nobody's, you know, like, so then he just feels so confident that he just goes on and does this all the time because he just thinks he's untouchable, I guess.
I don't think he thinks he's untouchable. I think he was on X for a long time under Adrian Dittman. And, you know, so he had all these live rooms going. Anyways, there's a video of him talking to Elon, you know, and it's just his two separate fucking phones. And you can hear him when he's live, you can hear his other phone in the background getting X requests, join this room.
Wow.
So you'll talk to people on this app and say, oh, there's no fucking way that it's the same person. They're fucking talking to each other. It's like, you fucking nitwit loser. Do you have one phone? You know, do you have one profile? It's like, oh, you mean you can't just click here and say create new profile, create new, you know, it's 100% fucking him. Beyond a reasonable doubt, it's him. Just because he doesn't post a PTR and it's not his fucking selfie, you know, and he has the same PTR. I mean, I've just recorded him so much that even when Trump, even on election night and all the shit he was doing, like, he was literally live in the X rooms and then jumping off and going live, like, with Trump on his Elon Musk profile. He's like, all right, everybody, huge fucking interview's about to happen. I'll see you soon, you know, and then he would go to his Elon profile, talk to Trump, and then it broke, and then he had to go create a new room, and it was like, this is fucking Elon, 100%. But anyways, you can go to adriandittman.com, and I post all my videos there. And also, I post them to Reddit. I post them to the Elon Musk Reddit channel thread, and I think he runs it or controls it or has somebody that does it on his behalf. And then they delete my posts. They ban my Reddit accounts, but I get it pushed in there. And even if it's in there for a few hours, I get enough people to click through, and it pisses him off. And I've heard him talking about me on his spaces, calls me his resident retard who's recording all his rooms. And if you don't know who I am, all you got to do is go to YouTube and you can, you know, see all my this fucking guy who's recording me, this motherfucker, fucking schizo psychopath. You know, and it's just so fucking awesome. Like, you know, because I've been recording Clubhouse for years now for no other reason than it's like variable dynamic, you know, AI chatbots just creating content to keep me entertained and my dopamine up. But when you know it's Elon and it's like, I can't believe he's in every major fucking headline 24/7. And he goes live and only 200, 300 people listen to him in an unrecorded room. If you want a business opportunity, Rachel, fucking record Adrian Dittman every night until the story goes public, and you will become famous, or at least get some fucking clout or some social media, something. I mean, I'm just saying, like, record his ass, because there is nobody as controversial, as important, and as insane as Elon Musk.
Isn't there a movie where a guy, what movie is that? There's somebody who's like being two different people at once, and what movie is that? And they're constantly like having, there's Miss Doubtfire, that's one, where he constantly has to like,
Isn't it multiplicity or whatever? Multiplicity?
You're saying the movie was called Multiplicity, or what are you asking?
I think that's the movie, Multiplicity.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking of a movie where a character is constantly playing two parts, and then they're like, we never see you in the same room together. And so people kept, the point of the movie was they kept trying to get these two people in the same room, but I don't remember what it is. But yeah, I used to be more like ambivalent about Elon Musk. I was like, okay, 50% of the time I don't agree with what he's saying, but 50% of the time I do agree. And other times, what he said, even if I don't agree with it, I think it's hilarious the way he says it. So that's been so far my experience with Elon Musk.
Yeah, but I would just encourage you to record him. I mean, I bootleg Clubhouse, and no one gives a fuck. But the fact that I've been bootlegging Elon in these unrecorded rooms, and like the thing is, people have these short-term conversations about the dumbest little things, like, oh, this girl wrote a PhD about how people smell. Wrote a senior thesis on some kind of stupid thing, and he goes on and on and on about it. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, we're just like fish in a gold bowl. You throw some food in there, some new news event, and like we, swim all around and get all excited with the dopamine. So when Elon comes on, within the first hour, that's his big dopamine event. And he'll go into these long pontificating philosophical abstract things that he just creates midair, and then Bly's his little dog sits there and clips it, and he goes, did you get it? He goes, yeah, I got it. And it's just like, it's pathetic, I mean. Yeah,
and he did reference last night, he said at one point, I think I heard him say like, oh yeah, people record me, or people have clipped me a lot. So yeah.
So I have I have a 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment that I own that's up for rent, but I'm like just renting the rooms individually. So, but I want to just like only do like, 3 young girls in their 20s, but like I have guys applying for it. I have all these Section 8 people applying for it. And like, they're used to just like applying for an apartment, but this is like an SRO where it's like you have access.
Don't rent to Section 8 people. They'll trash that shit.
Oh, fuck no, I'm not renting to Section 8. But they just love asking, do you rent to Section 8? Because it's like one of the legalese thing where if you say no, they're like, gotcha, bitch. I'm reporting you and suing you. It's like, no, you didn't get me, bitch, because I don't even respond. I don't have to respond to anyone.
That's how they bait you. Is they want you to say no, I don't rent to Section 8. So if you just don't respond, they can't say anything.
A lot of these people work with law firms that just specifically target large multifamily operators who respond no to that fucking ghetto ass question. I mean, I'm all for Section 8. I mean, not really. I'm not for it. I don't think we as taxpayers, should be paying for people's rent. I mean, I think if there's like, yeah.
There's a guy on here that was trying to convince me that I got to start buying up properties in Detroit because you could buy these things for like $2,000, rehab them, and do nothing but rent to Section 8. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get so rich doing that, is what he was telling me. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get rich. That's not some fucking huge 10x, 30x, 50x fucking ROI on your investment. That's like, oh great, now I gotta fucking deal with this and deal with that, and deal with you and deal with this. Oh, you're calling me now on a Sunday at 10 p.m. to tell me the fucking you broke the this, you broke the that. It's like you're buying yourself a fucking job, It's so stupid. And this is the thing that I hate about owning this building is like I have to rent it to pay the bills. But I have to deal with all these people who think it's their fucking house, and they think they got all the rights and everything. They can disrespect you. They don't even, it's like, fuck, I live with you. It's horrible, but it's really tested my patience because I can't get angry with people that I live with because there's ramifications, you know, for opposite and equal reaction. Like if I were to go crazy on somebody, I could expect absolute devastation in return, you know? I'm sleeping with parasites. It's kind of fucking horrible, to tell you the truth.
I'm gonna get what you're all saying about Section 8, but I'm actually on Section 8. So, it's like, yeah, most of the apartments I looked at were in like really bad shape. That were Section 8. But I got lucky because in Edmond where I live, there are nice apartments actually. But I get what people's concerns are because I'm in the Section 8 section of the complex, so they only have a certain section. And yeah, most of the people, they like, I mean, I hate saying this because I know it's such a stereotype, but yeah, a lot of people, they're not trying to improve their life. They're not trying to get off Section 8. They're not trying to, they're either resigned to their fate, or some of them feel, what the heck? Some of them feel like despair and like they're just trapped or whatever. Other ones just don't give a shit and they're just like, okay, So there is a lot of tenets of Section 8, but I think I'm one of the people who's trying to improve my life and trying to get better and eventually want to get off of it. Which I think they should have a program for like for instance, they used to do this thing, and I don't think they still do, where when you're on Section 8, if you want to become a homeowner, they set up a savings account for you that you put in some portion of your rent in, and you can't touch it until you're ready to do a down payment on a house. And I think that's great.
Here's the thing, Rachel. We all know this. Home ownership, owning a condo, whatever, townhouse, there's more than just paying the mortgage, property taxes. Like, you have maintenance and upkeep too. And like, if you don't have a pot to piss in and you own a house, right, that's not really a good thing because what if something breaks?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a complicated situation. But like, for me, it's just hard because I can't find. This is my problem. I've been trying to get higher paying jobs, and I just won't get hired for higher paying jobs. And I have a bachelor's degree, and I've been to college multiple times since my bachelor's degree, and I'm constantly trying for these high paying jobs. So it just sucks because it's just I'm stuck sometimes because I don't know how to.
See, one thing you have to work on. Yeah. One thing you have to work on is like your speech right there is yours. You are what you say you are. So when you say I try to get these jobs, I can't get the jobs. Yeah. Like you're already framing yourself for all your future experiences. You really have to be that phoenix, you know, going into what you're doing. You have to be that ray of sunshine. You have to, just like dating a job, you know, with a manager and your coworkers, it's just like dating, but in a group setting with no sex. So, you know, relationships come and go, and getting a job interview is just like getting a first date. You have to get a meeting if you hope to get a second meeting. So, you know, that's just the way it is. And and they may not be hiring you because you're framing yourself in this type of a way, as opposed to being the dynamic, you know, shapeshifter person who, you know, tickles their dopamine and doesn't give them that sour taste. You really have to be that perfect cocktail.
Yeah, and I am working on, I did. Thank you for pointing out the way I'm framing it. Because, that is something I'm trying to work on. And I saw this thing on Instagram the other day that was like, instead of saying, I can't do this, change it to, how can I do this? And I thought, oh, that's great. Because, I just did it to myself. I said, I'm not getting these jobs, but if I were to reframe it,
Rachel, it's the same thing when people say, I can't afford this. No, you're already admitting failure. Say, how can I afford this?
Right, I like that. Yeah, that's definitely, so I read that yesterday. And I was like, oh, I like that. I like that.
I'm going to get the link for the Dhammapada for you, which is the Buddha's Book of Wisdom. if you just listen to this thing and you let it program you and you really contemplate it and think about it when you're listening to it, it says such valuable truths that it's just, and it's very simple. I think it's only 50 minutes long, but it is such a useful insight into, you know, the concept of self and self-actualization, personal development. But I use it all the time, and I'm very conscious and trying to be aware of what I'm saying, because that's what I'm thinking. And, you know, your future income and your employment does deal with your ability to do public speaking and communication. So this is a great, yeah.
That was the same thing with Warren Buffett. He was like Warren Buffett's a smart guy and good at making money and investing, but he said the one thing he lacked was public speaking. So he had to take like a lot of classes on it and like go to workshops and different things because he said he was a very poor public speaker.
Yeah, like I recently was a panelist for a mental health event, and I was so scared of doing it because for so much of my life, I was telling myself, hey, you're a bad public speaker, right? But then this opportunity came to share my mental health journey and story, which is something I'm super passionate about, and I found myself terrified, but like, I did it anyway. And as soon as I got up there, it was just like, it was so natural. Like, I didn't talk necessarily like I do here, but I shared and everything was great. And then at the end, the lady who was in charge of the whole event was like, oh, I thought you told me you never spoken publicly before about this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I never have. And she said that. She was like, you were so brilliant. You said, you know, you talked about heavy topics without getting too heavy. You like pulled back at the right points. You gave advice at these other points. And she said she was impressed because that was my first time. And so that really empowered me. I was like, wow, okay, all my life I've told myself this false narrative that I can't do public speaking. And yet here I did 2 different times in front of 200 people, both times. And that was what spurred, like I told you, Adrian, or I guess is your name Edmund? For saying that.
Yeah. You can call me John. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. That is your right arm. Right, you're right-handed. True, that's true. I know.
Yeah, I would click that link above and save that Dhammapada, and I would really encourage you to even listen to it with your children, because it's like pure wisdom, you know, and it is really, wait till Nick, you too, and God down there, if you listen to this thing, you'd be like, damn, this is really smart. And it's really, really applicable to what you hear on this app. There's just so many fucked up, retarded, anxious, there's just so much anxiety and depression. I mean, and you know, like you said yesterday, you're like, I gotta step my shit up. I got fucking kids. I gotta take care of myself. I gotta worry about my retirement. I gotta worry about everything. So, you know, coming on here, you know, if you're in the right environment is responsible. But like, you know, I'm telling you, you're just listen to the Dhammapada and it will help you tremendously.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Yeah, and I've seen times like when you mentioned instead say how can you afford this? I fairly recently had an experience where I wanted to sign up for this workshop or whatever, and I was like, damn it, I don't have the money. But then I had just read The Secret, and I mean listened to the audiobook of The Secret, which some of it was kind of corny and also gimmicky, but there were a few key points that were really, really helpful. And anyways, I decided to say, like, I will find the money. The money will come. And it did. And I was like, oh shit, this works. But then when I wanted for higher amounts of money, then the self-doubt comes in. Oh, I can possibly do that. And so, yeah, it's just a matter of reframing. And I also manifested, like, one point I'll illustrate from The Secret. It said, the universe doesn't know whether you're joking or not. So be very careful with like self-deprecating humor or with just making jokes, whatever. And then, so this might be a silly example, but it blew my mind. So I moved into these apartments years ago, and two screens of the windows were missing this whole time. And every time a new manager comes, because we go through them like ridiculous. Anyway, I would ask them, hey, can I have screens now? And nobody would replace them. So I got very frustrated. So then after reading The Secret, my kid wanted to open the window, and I was like, no, you're going to let bugs in. I wish we had screens. And then I just laughed and go, you know what? I'm manifesting 3 screens. I want 3 screens to be here tomorrow. And sure enough, the next day, Serena comes from outside. She goes, Mom, there's 3 screens by your back window. And I was like, holy shit. So, like, I think I manifested those screens. So anyway, because I made a joke of it, and then the universe thought I was serious.
See, the thing about manifestation and communication is it's spam, meaning that look at the Jake Paul Tyson fight. You know, the reason why they were both able to capitalize, you know, $100 million each, whatever the number is because the incredible amount of spam and communication and marketing that was pushed out across all these platforms that they created, that other people created. If you want to have big financial success in your life, you do have to do mass communication. You know, look at a dentist who has to buy ads on Google to get people in so they can drill their teeth out. You know, if you could create some type of an internet business, whether like my friend's dad has a business called Pronunciation Workshop where he teaches people all around the world how to speak American English. But again, that's like hypnosis. You know, he's the smartest fucking guy. He's so smart what he does. It's called Pronunciation Workshop. And he creates these YouTube reels.
But Edmund, it's necessary. It's one of those necessary things, but nobody ever thought of them.
Well, I'm just saying that the pictures business, the movies business, you know, they have to do advertising to get people to come into the theaters. It's always statistics. It's always analytics, and it's always an equation. So, you know, I'm literally living in my mom's basement, smoking weed, drinking a beer in my underpants, and I am broke. But all I can tell you, Rachel, you know, Nick is, he's a CPA. You know, he doesn't have to create arbitrages and do media buying and create content. But like, you know, whatever your situation is, your creative output is definitely tied to future income. And it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to think going into 2025, like, I really want to focus on my financial situation. But yeah, I feel the same, that for me, with my story, the things I want to do, definitely requires like sort of like putting myself out there and selling myself.
But part of being successful is forgetting your story and creating a new story. You don't need to document your mental health history in order to be successful. You have to create new hypnosis for other people and for yourself. You could do that mental health journey thing, but that's one category of content. I mean, I bootleg Clubhouse, people talking about mostly, you know, things in the news because that's fresh on their mind. I don't know what you're going to do, you know, like, you have to just do. That's the big magic word, is do. And that's what God is. Right. That's what dog is. It's all do. Don't step in doo-doo. Just create doo-doo for other people to step in. That's the secret to success.
Yeah, and the thing, I want to create like an actual business plan or something. But my first step, because this is the thing I did like about Adrian Dittman last night, was he saying that you just need to start like organizing your life. And the way he was talking about, you know, cleaning your room and not letting shit pile up, you know, and then next you organize your phone, you organize your computer, or you, whatever, what he was saying about organizing. And I'm like, yes, that is a good first step, because you can't accomplish anything without the organization. And the other thing I'm reading this book called 168 Hours in a Week or something like that. And the subtitle is You Have More Time Than You Think. So she first has you print out these logs from online and you start documenting all your time, what you're spending time on. And it really showcases to you like how much time you're wasting. And so I think the first step for my life is get organized really well. Get it down, get my practice down of meditation, of yoga, whatever. Like just get it down to a science. And then from in that environment, then I can start thinking about how to financially succeed in my life.
Yeah, I mean, being highly organized helps you, deal with all the new incoming bullshit, which is going to distract you, because you've already organized all the stuff in your personal life. The material, like, that's why I like to say organizing, because that's what you're doing is like, you've already just organized. Okay, fuck. Now you're going to reorganize the organizing to get more organized, which is really letting go. I have a picture of the Buddha over my toilet that says, let it go. The thing about organizing the material world is it should help organize your thoughts, meaning we are memory boxes. And unfortunately, if you do chronic thinking, what you're doing is you're just chronically utilizing your memory. So part of being in the here and now and, doing therapy work is essentially allowing you to let go and be fast and quick again and youthful and have the spirit, really. That's the whole thing is, in magic practice, or if you're a Christian or whatever, the whole thing deals with ruach or the spirit or breathing. And, breathing is like a mental hack where if you are using your memory in a negative way, which is not productive, breathe. And you can do the hard reset. So you can do, these short, brief hypnoses about basically I just say, take the deepest breath of the day, hold it for 10 seconds, and then be in silence for 10 seconds. And that will basically give you a reboot, just like when your computer breaks and you do a hard reset and just restart that motherfucker and it works again. It's the same thing with breathing meditation and going into silence.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, silence is the secret.
Also, what Nick mentioned about that guy doing public speaking classes, I'm wondering now maybe that's something I should invest in because,
you're doing it right now, and Toastmasters, will really speed you up because they'll give you the book on how to give a good, persuasive, and informative speech, and then people at the meetings will actually. You will listen to amazing speeches. I've been to Toastmaster events where I was almost crying because I was like, holy fuck, this is so authentic and raw. Somebody talking you're about what they're talking. Some guy gave a speech about how his son killed himself with alcohol. And it was like, whoa, this is, so personal. And this guy, and it wasn't the first time he's given that speech. So, but again, this is like an art form in manipulation where a great public speaker who can bring the audience to tears or inform them about the truth, which is de-propaganda or, de-misinformation, whatever the topic is. So that's the thing. You're already doing it on Clubhouse. That's the thing about the internet is all the things you want to do, you can do right now on Clubhouse. You can test scientifically all of your thoughts on Clubhouse. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, that's one thing when the lady was like, are you I can't believe you never spoke publicly before about this because you were brilliant. I was like, have you heard of Clubhouse? And she's like, yeah, vaguely. And I said, well, I talk about this mental health stuff on there all the time. So that's probably where I got it from.
Yeah, this is a great platform because it doesn't cost you anything to do your experiments. And you can, I record people, but to me, that's all just scientific observation.
And I like what you say about starting somewhere new. And so instead of detailing my journey with psychosis, because the reason I picked psychosis and schizophrenia is because the mental health field is so overflowed, what is the term? Filled with an excess of mental health, pages or businesses or nonprofits. There's a ton of them. But the reason I thought I gotta find an angle that is not really getting much attention. And so I thought schizophrenia and psychosis, especially because I have psychosis, right? So that is kind of what I want my focus to be. And instead of documenting my past, my whole journey, I'm just going to document where I'm at now and what kinds of help can I give to other people versus like I need to tell my whole story. So I like that aspect of it, of just like.
I mean, in the sense that you need to think commercially. You know, look at Disney. Like, Disney's not going to talk about his mental health problem. You know, like Disney's going to create content based around therapeutic imagery, you know, that helps people deal with depression and anxiety and gives them that dopamine. You really have to think like a business person and just know that your journey, though relevant to you, is not necessarily commercially viable to an audience, you know, and you want to maximize your return on investment. Look at the link above. I just read it today. It's a health treatment article about people that have voices. To me, this is like chronic thinking. You know, a lot of people who say, oh, they're hearing voices. It's like, you're not hearing voices. You're fucking thinking. That's your internal monologue. And that is, you know, the fact that you can't control that is the problem. And, you know,
because oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say, because when I do have these episodes, oftentimes what's coming to the surface are things that I was either suppressing and not wanting to face the reality of, or it was things I was obsessing about. So it just was like a double whammy of like, here, we're gonna, like, for instance, a guy maybe that was actually not a good person that I was holding on to, like, appeared as a demon in one of my, and I was suppressing it. I was like, everybody was telling me he's not a good person, and I was not listening, and I was stuffing it away. And then in my psychosis, it's like he's appearing to me as a demonic force, right? Or it's things that I'm obsessing about that come into my sphere during the psychosis episode. And yeah, so, but here's the problem though, because I am torn, because I know what you're saying about being commercially viable, and that's important. And I want to succeed and get money. I do. However, I feel like the way it's packaged on, let's say, Instagram, the whole healing journey, it's all packaged in nice, pretty rainbows and like soft stuff and like, oh, just drink more water and just hang out with friends and la-di-da and you're better. Well, look at that. And it's like, I want to show the reality of it. I want to show how raw and real that it is. But that's only going to appeal to a small sector of society. So it's like, okay, how do I both combine commercial viability with real and raw thought? Like, that's what I need to figure out. Yeah.
See, I think advice is like personal projection. You know, like I'm projecting my opinions, not just for you, but for the audience and for myself. Like that's good advice where you're confident in what you're saying. And, you know, like, but when you listen to Elon yesterday, it's so quick. It's so, you know, basically. I mean, life is a progression. You know, and people who save their money, you know, for a rainy day, it takes some of, you know, the anxiety away. You know, but the thing is, you got to move fast. You have to fail quick. Clubhouse lets you fail real quick. It's a perfect place to test your to-do list, you know, and recreate new priorities and get feedback on what you're creating. I think Clubhouse is like the perfect mirror for everything you do. You know, I live stream myself incessantly, and I'm just constantly using this app because it's a feedback mechanism to give you real-time feedback on what you're thinking, what you're doing, and it's free. So I wouldn't, if I were you, I would incorporate this app and just live stream everything you creatively output, you know, and just throw it into the ether and get the feedback to help you course correct to get to the money. And the money comes from your audience, and it comes from a transaction. Somebody's going to have to click buy now, or send you a wire, or send you a check in the mail, or subscribe to your Patreon, you know, and send you a donation. Like, you know, there's people that aren't even selling shit. Anyways, you have to be creative. It will fight boredom. It will fight bad ideas. And look at Necro down there. He went into a room today with Dr. Steve Appel and said, Jesus told me to tell everyone that he hasn't come back in 2,000 years and to let it go. That's all I have to say. I mean, Necro, if I could send you to a boot camp, and run you through a boot camp, like a full boot camp, I'm talking physical and academic. You wouldn't sound, and you wouldn't even have a name like Necro. You would call yourself, Steve or Peter, whatever your real name is. You'd be who you are as a man, as opposed, Tena Necro.
Yeah, I like this topic and you're saying. I appreciate that. And I started doing this thing I started an asynchronous chat where I was thinking of continuing it where I read my poems from my book just every so often, but like I could do asynchronous chats too besides streaming live and maybe get people's feedback from there. But you know what's fun? Okay, so I talked to my friend and I've been helping her through a bunch of stuff she's dealing with, and she's the one who said I helped her more than like all the professional help she's gotten. What was I going to say? There are times where I'm talking to her and I just say something that's so like succinct and gets the point across in this really brilliant way. And so I'll stop the conversation and like go record a voice memo about it. But what we've talked about is I've asked her like, can I just record our conversations? Because I feel like there's a lot of gems that are coming up, and the dynamic between me and her, the thing she says that spurs on new ideas for me as well is like it's really cool. I like it. So anyway, we're going to start recording our conversations where we're just shooting the shit, because from within that, there are some things that come up that could be marketable. So yeah.
The whole conversation, is marketable, but it always comes down to keywords, because you're not going to get an audience unless you have content that people are looking for, typing in, or the algorithm is showing them because it knows that that's what they want to see. So you have to do a lot of experimentation, a lot of creation to find out what's working for you, and then, stick to that niche and monetize it. You have to come up with some type of product or service, whether it's therapeutic, academic, physical, I don't know. I mean, it's a horrible grind, but the process, is the solution. It is creativity is always the answer. Art is always the answer, because it's good for the soul and it's good for the pocketbook. And that's what everybody's technically looking for. And you get to help people. There's a lot of people out there that need help, myself included, yourself included. And so that's, if you help people find what they're looking for, that's how you monetize. I've sold business plans and books for many years, and I helped people find what they were looking for by packaging an answer to their query. So, and now with AI, you don't even have to hire graphic designers. You can literally create product immediately using AI. Whether it's books or tinctures or whatever kind of little product you want to ship to somebody, whether it's a digital download or it's something you're going to send in the mail. See, this is the type of conversation you won't hear from Elon, because it's too mundane and pathetic. He's manufacturing vehicles and providing a huge communication platform that he bought out, but he's also, he's got a team of developers. Like, the guy just provides comments like, I don't like that the logo is, positioned in the center. Let's put it in the left. Like, he's doing small little feedback probably things, but he's not actually involved in any of the coding or the bugs and all the shit. So it's like, as somebody starting out a new business, it's like you have such an uphill battle. But the only way to do it is to start that journey one step at a time, plant the fucking acorn and watch it grow. But, or you could just get a great job and solve all your problems. And generally the government is the safest place to work, because you have guaranteed job security, because the fucking taxpayers keep paying for your position.
Part of the problem is, because I've tried for government jobs, it's just the hours that they require means that I can't take my kids to school or pick them up, and I don't have anybody else to do that. So that's part of the problem. But like, that'll change in the future. They'll be older before I know it. But I also don't really want a government job on the other hand. So it's like, okay, well, you have to make this successful then with the other stuff you're trying to do. So, and there's no way around it. But one thing I was going to say was that, I forgot about this earlier. One thing I was going to try was, okay, so you know how like Jim Carrey, there's that famous story that before Jim Carrey got real famous, he wrote himself $100,000 or $200,000, some high amount of a check. And he said like, I will cash this out in like 10 years or something. And then he, shortly after that, he got Ace Ventura. And then he made that money way faster, just like a year later or something. So it didn't take 10 years, but like, so one thing I thought of was I'm going to print out like an amount of a fake ticket, like a fake check, I mean, for a certain amount. I haven't decided what amount yet, and be like, I want to make this amount by the end of this year or by the end of next year, maybe something like that, and put it up on my wall so that I constantly see it. But yeah, I like that story what Jim Carrey did. So that was,
you know, that's like putting the carrot before the cart or the horse or whatever. I get it. Like that type of goal is to me that's just kind of immature or amateurish. You have to just look at a dollar bill and again look at the symbols on it. Those are all divine symbols, all divine abstracts. So if you studied, you know, the Tao Te Ching, if you studied the Dhammapada, if you studied the Bible, you know, like that would help you in a way get closer to the source of the money. I know it sounds
that's true.
ridiculous,
I know a lot about the Bible. Yeah, you know, I did watch a 3-hour. This was years ago. There's a 3-hour documentary or something. I need to find it. I don't even remember the name of it, but it did talk about the origin of all those symbols on the dollar bill, and it talks about the Freemasons and a lot of things. It was really fascinating. So I'm trying to find that again.
I'm dying laughing at what Necro's writing. He said black people got back at white people by creating the DMV. You know, every year I have to go get my car's emissions tested, and there's an office attached to the emissions test facility, which is contracted with the state for millions of dollars to provide this amazing service. And then there's another little business attached to the emissions testing facility, which sells you your permit, your annual permit. And, you know, they charge you $185. But if you were to go downtown to the actual municipal office, you'd only have to pay like $150. So they make that little extra premium plus another charge on the credit card. So this little office is processing, you know, a couple hundred people every week, maybe 800 people. Like they're making a lot of money. And it like drives me crazy to know that like we have voted to do this to ourselves, to cause one day a year that you have to waste hours of your day and spend hundreds of dollars. We voted for that. To punish ourselves, you know, and I just find it funny that Necro, you know, is saying that it's because it's not true. It's not, you know, that's obviously, it's a joke. But the truth is, we are the joke as a society. What we do to ourselves with our own taxpayer dollars is fucking retarded.
Yeah, I mean, humans are really good at punishing ourselves. I know I am. That's why, like even things that might be quote unquote an accident or not on purpose. Like for instance, when I start the dip of depression, right? I sometimes will forget, in quotes, to take my med. But I started realizing like, I started asking myself, why does that happen? Why do you think you're forgetting? And I realized because I want to punish myself. I want to go deeper. Like there's a part of me, maybe call it my ego, even though I know that's an illusion, but let's just pretend. There's this ego that wants to get me trapped in the darkness. So I conveniently forget so that I'm just going even deeper into the depression, because every time I try to do something healthy, my ego throws a freaking tantrum.
You think you have an ego though. There's no ego in the real world. You know, you can't touch it, can't taste it.
It's an illusion.
It's your thoughts.
So I guess I should just say there's a part of me instead of calling it my ego. Because yeah, there's a part of me that I have to what's it called? Not fix, but like manage, I guess.
I don't know. For me, when I go to the gym and I leave the gym and I get back home, I'm like a different person. My thoughts feel cleaner, more transparent. I know what I need to do. I do it. But until I go to the gym and get that huge dopamine fill from the exercise, like I'm not motivated to do the things I need to do to keep progressing, to keep my life stable. Necro, welcome to the room. Is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, are you fascinated by X?
Am I fascinated by X?
Yeah.
You're talking about the platform, right?
Yeah.
I'm not fascinated by it, but I think what I contribute to it is more fascinating than the platform itself. But the fact that it's, been busted wide open, that it was a massive censorship and deplatforming enterprise prior to Elon, and cleaning house. I just think it's a great platform. But I think other platforms and other methodologies are fine and dandy if they work for you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the other thing that happens when I'm feeling down is I drop all the healthy things I was doing as well. So that's what I just had to figure out like how to not forget. So like I have to now set a timer for my medication. I have it in a little tiny box, like pill box or whatever, right next to my bed with water, always there, so that I can't forget anymore. But yeah.
I don't know. I'm not, on the. I'm anti-Zav, VAX, XAV. I'm anti that. I'm anti, most psychiatric medications. But I'm not. Obviously, I just believe there's not a speck of dust out of place in the universe. So if something's working for you, who am I to say, stop doing what you're doing? But my focus is not on, other people's situations. I mean, I just believe that, the greatest value I can give to myself and to others is to like share books on this app. Because, I just think I'm retarded and I would rather share some insight or information from, most likely a genius who lived 100 years ago. But I could say the same thing about the Bible. Like Necro, what do you have against the Book of John?
That's not true.
What's not true about it?
That, there's this, guy who, died, and, was sacrificed so that, the idea that, Jesus was God, something that, he never would have thought that anybody would have thought he was God. So.
Okay, so the thing is, like, I can agree with you on what you're saying, that it's just so ridiculous, like why even give it any attention? But the point is that the symbols in it can be useful, whether it's for commercialization or it's for self-actualization. And, I just think that the all or nothing question of was Jesus God in the flesh? Was it a miracle? Is it true? Is mankind saved? Do we have eternal life according to the gospel? Those are just these huge, meaningless questions. But I think when you break it down into basically the symbolic references, they can have immediate value and they're useful artistically. So, you do you, but I think if you don't indulge in it, you're never going to really be able to play the game with the audience or with your fellow, citizens or fellow humans. And it's to your artistic detriment not to engage in, divine symbolic activity, if that makes any sense. And that's my, contrarian position to what you put out. And if you think it has no value, well then, you know, you really are like a black and white necrophiliac.
Thank you, Jordan Peterson.
But see, to me, this is hilarious. Like, you're 100% on the money. That's exactly like what Jordan Peterson would say, because like that's what he does say, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, Sam Harris, where he said it's kind of like people arguing about, you know, whether, you know, the glass that, you know, I have sitting at Carnegie Hall with Jordan Peterson, whether that was being said by Elton John, you know, and whether somebody else was saying no, that it was Billy Joel. And it turns out that neither of them drank over it. And they were fighting over for who has, you know, the right to claim the glass as theirs.
I'm confused. What is that? I mean, what was the point of that, or what are you trying to say? I'm confused.
You had it where people were arguing about, you know, who drank from the glass at Carnegie Hall, whether it was Billy Joel or whether it was Elton John, and it turns out that really neither of them drank from it.
No, I just meant like, how is that relevant? That's what I didn't get.
Well, that's really just the way I see people who argue about, you know, who is right about their God necessarily, whether Jesus is God, whether he's the Son of God, whether he's, you know, was just a prophet.
Yeah, but how do you view arguing about the existence of God versus about arguing about which Abrahamic faith is the true faith? I mean, don't you view the argument about God being more important than, you know, the subcategorization?
Yeah, the problem is just essentially if you get outside of, you know, a God that, you know, that like people define in their holy book, which God are you talking about? And because if you're talking about this, like, you know, Thomas Jefferson's God, you know, who denied that God, you know, had, you know, any special relationship with anyone, as just complete arrogance, you know, I mean, that sort of God, like, has no different bearing on my life. So, unlike, you know, the Abrahamic God, if he were real, I would expect many things to change about, you know, life as I experience it.
Oh, Daniel Nero's here. He's a fun one. So Necro, you know, going back to these tools or symbols, the point is, you know, Abraham is a reference in occult circles to the term abracadabra. You know, ABC, NBC, CBS all use occult symbols in their names, in their brands, in their logos. And so to me, that's just like the big connection in commercialization of divine symbolic reference. You know, but the thing is, people engage in occult or religious or spiritual journeys because they see there's joy in it, but it's also I think it's just personal development, self-help. You know, Freemasons say that they build men and they build buildings. And again, the buildings is like a reference to your house, like Clubhouse. You're talking about the self, about the brain, about your memory. What have you put into your memory box? Would you agree, Necro, that the more you put into your memory box, especially if it's high value, is technically, you know, how you can change your life? That you are like an iPhone, and that the more gigabytes of information, which are of high value, you know, can help you with your life, with your decision, with your patterns, with your behavior, with your way of thinking, with your joy. I mean, that's to me why I do what I do. I mean, do you agree with anything that I'm saying?
I just agree. iPhones can be pretty enjoyable, you know, especially when, you know, putting in chargers. So.
You know, I used to be very much concerned, like, things that people believe, or that I believe, very concerned with the truth of it, with like, but is it true? But as I get older and the more experience, I'm realizing it doesn't really even matter at the end of the day if it's true, if it's useful to you. And so even finding myself doing actions maybe that in the past I would have been like, this is stupid because it's not real, it's not true. But like we make everything real. We can choose whatever narrative we freaking want. And so why not choose one that actually aids in your development and success in your life is the conclusion I'm coming to. So basically just the truth of it is kind of slipping away from me. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the best approach for everybody, but it's what's been working for me lately.
Necro, but I have these flashcards of biblical verses, and the point is when you read these cards out loud, in my opinion, you're adding them to your subconscious memory, or basically you can't really remember what you're reading, but you're neurolinguistically implanting and changing and plasticizing your brain. And when you read the New Testament and the Old Testament, really what it's doing is kind of making you into a dandy or a kingly type of person, and raising, I think, your conscious awareness about the universe and even about your local universe. So, to me, the atheist room is like a lot of other rooms. It's basically cats and a mouse, and they beat up on the mouse that comes in the room. They play with it until they're bored with it. But really all the spiritual holy books, or what you could call divine, revelation books, it's really it's self-development. I think it deals with King, God, King, the Godfather, the Father God, making you into a man, growing you psychologically, to basically be stronger, to be more manly, and if you're a woman, I guess to make you more queenly, or, more feminine, more divine feminine. I don't know. But anyways, those are my thoughts, Necro. I love online debate, but I like to do it for personal development, I guess, reasons. Or I support those that educate. I want to educate and I want to be educated.
I agree. There are parts of the Bible that I, do think do benefit me. And I wish more Christians would follow them. The problem is that they don't. You have Christians who commodify off of their own churches. You have all these mega churches, which make mass amounts of profit. Even Boshi has said, that to not make his father's house into a place of business, as well as, that when you pray, be not like the hypocrites who think that they will be heard for their many repetitions. We wouldn't have Christians trying to put National Day of Prayer on. And so, whereas having to put the Bible, to have the Bible be sworn on in courts. So, I agree. I wish that there are things that I find that are in the Bible that are invaluable. But then there's also parts that I don't think are valuable, like, for example, slavery, or like when it says in 1 Timothy, where it says that, women are to be silent and fear of men. I think that, we can definitely do well without those parts of the Bible.
What, women should be silent in the fear of men?
That they should be silent, says in 1 Timothy.
Women should be silent?
Yes.
Well, should men be silent?
No, the Bible doesn't say men should be silent. It says women should be silent. That he did not give women the authority to usurp authority over man.
Okay. Daniel, do you want to say anything? God, do you want to say anything? Rachel, anything else?
I'm still here. I'm just talking to my mom for a sec because she got something out for me.
Okay, Necro, I'm gonna pin a link. I would really like you to read it to the room. I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
It's called the.
I have the verses right here.
Okay, go ahead if you want.
second.
That's not what I want you to read, but if you want to read that, go ahead. But I want you to read something else.
Yeah, just to assure that I'm not taking anything out of context. A woman should learn quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet, for Adam was formed first, then Eve, and Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. But women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your sentiment, but I also don't completely disagree with what you read, meaning that there's some logic to what it's saying, because, you know, the belief that Eve was taken out of Adam, you know, means that inside of man, there's a longing for woman, which is the reunification, which is, you know, basically not Gnosticism or Gnosis or unity with God or oneness with the one, the many coming back to the one. So it's like, but see, there's even a cult reference in what you just read about the silence. You know, think, know, do, act, remain silent. And then the woman, you know, who gives birth, look at Rachel here. I mean, once you have children, you know, you and I can't have children. So there's something so unique about the ability to gestate, to give birth, that you and I can't really ever experience. We can only observe. So I'm just saying there's a great riddle and a great mystery. And that, you know, the atheists, in my opinion, on this app, who can't actually admit that there's some type of secret, some type of a conspiracy, which I think you can, you know, God basically just keeps expanding. So it's like, you can't really capture that genie that gets out of the bottle. But I've never seen a miracle, and I don't believe in miracles, and I don't believe in aliens or UFOs, but I guarantee you there is some type of secret mystery or riddle. And if you look at the Sphinx, you know, these symbols allude to the fact that either we're living in a simulation, and I think that the simulation theory, you know, the Adam and Eve equation leading up until now, and all the historical, you know, stuff, I just think that, you know, beyond a reasonable doubt, that God is real and that you are a manifestation of God. That's my opinion.
Yeah, why is God the image of an ape? Why is God an ape?
Why is God an ape?
Yeah.
Well, where do you?
Man, God's image. So why is God an ape?
So, you know, the room on here, Talking Apes. I think if you do transcendental meditation, it's a little bit like the ape, you know, spark. It's a spark in the mind of the ape, waking you up out of this ape-like consciousness or awareness. So if you can do, you know, if you can do LSD or mescaline or cannabis and wine and coffee and read these far out mystical books, or even watch Star Wars, you know, the thing about the Force, this unseen power that can be utilized, manipulated. You know, we were talking about manifestation earlier. I'm just saying, to me, this stuff is supposed to be fun. You talk to the atheists, it's like, if they're just going to refute it, well, then that's the other side of the fun. Anyways, you know, I click the link above. I think you might like it. It's by the third Chinese patriarch of Zen. I think in religious studies, if you don't touch and taste China and India, you only know, you know, 40% of the equation. So if you want to read it, or even Rachel, if you want to read it, or Daniel, if you want to read it to the room, and you will witness, you know, Gnosticism or Gnosis or unity with God. To me, it's a hypnosis document to create a Gnostic effect. You're prevented?
I could read it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Read it until you can read the whole thing, or if you want to pass it to Necro or pass it to Daniel, do that.
Okay, I will read. How about I read the first paragraph and then pass it off, and then everybody can read a paragraph. Okay, I will start. I do not know how to pronounce the title. Is it the H is silent, or how do you pronounce the title?
Shin Shin or Sin Sin.
Okay. Shin Shin Ming. Ming. The Great Way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Make the smallest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinions for or against anything. To set up what you like against what you dislike is the disease of the mind. When the deep meanings of things is not understood, the mind's essential peace is disturbed to no avail. I could keep going unless somebody wants to read the next paragraph. Okay, I'll keep going. The way is perfect, like vast space where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess. Indeed, it is due to our choosing to accept or reject that we do not see the true nature of things. Live neither in the entanglements of outer things, nor in inner feelings of emptiness. Be serene in the oneness of things, and such erroneous views will disappear by themselves. When you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. As long as you remain in one extreme or the other, you will never know oneness. Those who do not live in the single way fail in both activity and passivity, assertion and denial. To deny the reality of things is to miss their reality. To assert the emptiness of things is to miss their reality. The more you talk and think about it, the further astray you wander from the truth. Stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. Okay, I am going to do a commentary real quick. I really like that, stop talking and thinking. That seems to be a common thread in these types of ways of thinking. And yeah, like recently I've been trying to learn to stand still. Because when you stand still, sometimes you can receive things. But there is a time, I think there is a time to push, and then there's a time to just stand still and stop talking. I like that. Anyway, to return to the root is to find the meaning, but to pursue appearances is to miss the source. At the moment of inner enlightenment, there is going beyond appearance and emptiness. The changes that appear to occur in the empty world we call real only because of our ignorance. Do not search for the truth, only cease to cherish opinions. Do not remain in a dualistic state. Avoid such pursuits carefully. If there is even a trace of this and that, of right and wrong, the mind essence will be lost in confusion. Although all dualities come from the one, do not be attached even to this one. When the mind exists undisturbed in the way, nothing in the world can offend. And when a thing can no longer offend, it ceases to exist in the old way. Ooh, I like that. When no discriminating thoughts arise, the old mind ceases to exist. When thought objects vanish, the thinking subject vanishes. As when the mind vanishes, objects vanish. Things are objects because of the subject, mind. The mind, subject, is such because of thing, object. Understand the reality of these two, and the basic reality, the unity of emptiness. In this emptiness, the two are indistinguishable, and each contains in itself the whole world. If you do not discriminate between force and mind, you will never be tempted to prejudice and opinion. No, Izzy, sorry, my kid is asking me. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, I wanted to make a brief comment. Look, there's a reason why people don't order. Like, let's say you go to a restaurant and you say, look, can I have a bowl of cereal? Okay, why don't people do that, typically? Like, imagine going to a restaurant and being, all right, yeah, I'll have some Lucky Charms.
slices of banana, 2%. Only. It's like, you can do it right there at your home. Now this is what happened to churches. Going to church is like ordering a bowl of cereal in a restaurant. You can do everything you need to do in your home. Right? Now, we need to start an online church for people that want to have church at home. And look, I'll give you another analogy. Imagine somebody ordered ramen noodles, like a those packets, from a restaurant. Shrimp. Right? You know? No. There's a reason for that. Because you can do it quickly and easily, cheaply right in your home. And this is a sector of the market that's being neglected right now. Online church. Right?
These mega churches are live streaming their services. You know, like I was down in Tampa and I saw some mega church and they were partnering with some other mega church and cross streaming, and you know, like they are very, very, they do data analytics. For example, I worked at Google. I had a meeting with the Church of Latter-day Saints, or the Mormons, you know, in Salt Lake City. They're spending, they budgeted like $30 million that year to run ads to get people to sign up on their website so they could, you know, build a new pipeline of customers. It's true. You don't need to go to a restaurant and order cereal. You know, that's pathetic. You can do exactly what you need to do in your own home. You don't need to go to some large congregation to donate all your money and even get involved with all the people there and all their drama. It's much better to do spiritual and, you know, spiritual education work at home. Save your money. Jesus has already been crucified.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at least think of pizza, where there's like a specialty oven. Maybe they have a special sauce, a recipe. There's a demand for it. There's a reason. Because you can't make a really good pizza at home, typically. But you can make a really good worship service at home. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to leave the door. It's unbelievable. And all of the accoutrement that can be sold, like altars, you know, all of the kitsch, that people can set up their own little church. We could sell it.
See what they're really doing back in the 50s, and you know, and all what they're doing is just creating this app. They're just creating a neural network of people networked within a house, just like this fucking app. I mean, this app is the extension of what they were doing, just in the digital realm. So that's the cool thing about technology, and why why these disruptive technologies decentralize. You know, it's the same thing with Uber. You know, but the church, I don't know, you could say Uncle Steve is technically doing that. You know, when you create an atheist debate room, what you're really doing is creating a discussion about God, whether it's in the positive or the negative. What's the difference? Because God is both positive and negative. God is a void, God is something, you know? So I don't know. To me, talking about God is the best conversation because it's the most universal. But to me, the whole thing about God is it's about kindness, friendship, love, joy, harmony, equilibrium. Those are the positive aspects. That's the product of, you know, of wisdom. So you could debate God, but who can bring the wisdom? Who can actually raise your IQ, raise your EQ? You know, those are the people you want to talk to.
Yeah, and we should make a church of just what we're doing here, where we read these documents or these books and then we discuss them. Like, that would be cool.
Did you read the whole thing, the Shin Shin Ming? If you've never read it, yeah, you guys got to read this document because it's a very advanced Chinese psychological document, which will give you enlightenment, or at least take away your pseudo enlightenment. You know, it's a game, and it is a hypnosis document that deals with self.
Okay, yeah, I can keep reading now. Yeah, I really like what it's saying so far about the duality and not getting swept up in that. Okay, here we go. To live in the great way is neither easy nor difficult, but those with limited views are fearful and irresolute. The faster they hurry, the slower they go, and clinging or attachment cannot be limited. Even to be attached to the idea of enlightenment is to go astray. Ooh, brilliant, yes. Just let things be in their own way, and they will be neither coming nor going. Obey the nature of things, your own nature, and you will walk freely and undisturbed. When thought is in bondage, the truth is hidden, for everything is murky and unclear. Yes, I'm reading something, babe. As soon as the clothes dry, I will give you that. Okay, so let's see. The truth. Okay, when thought is in bondage. Oh my God. Sorry. Okay. I'm back again. When thought is in bondage, the truth is hidden, for everything is murky and unclear, and the burdensome practice of judging brings annoyance and weariness. What benefit can be derived from distinctions and separation? If you wish to move in the one way, do not dislike even the world of senses and ideas. Indeed, to accept them fully is identical with true enlightenment. The wise man strives to know goals, but the foolish man fetters himself. There is one dharma, not many. Distinctions arise from the clinging needs of the ignorant. To seek mind with the discriminating mind is the greatest of all mistakes. Rest and unrest derive from illusion. With enlightenment, there is no liking and disliking. All dualities come from ignorant inference. They are like dreams or flowers in air, foolish to try to grasp them. Gain and loss, right and wrong, such thoughts must finally be abolished at once. If the eye never sleeps, all dreams will naturally cease. If the mind makes no discrimination, the 10,000 things are as they are, of single essence. To understand the mystery of this one essence is to be released from all entanglements. When all things are seen equally, the timeless self-essence is reached. No comparisons or analogies are possible in this causeless, relationless state. Consider movement stationary, and the stationary in motion. Both movement and rest disappear. When such dualities cease to exist, oneness itself cannot exist. To this ultimate finality, no law or description applies. For the unified mind, in accordance with the way, all self-centered striving ceases. Doubts and irresolutions vanish, and life in true faith is possible. With a single stroke, we are freed from bondage. Nothing clings to us, and we hold to nothing. All is empty, clear, self-illuminating, with no exertion of the mind's power. Here, thought, feeling, knowledge, and imagination are of no value. In this world of suchness, there is neither self nor other than self. To come directly into harmony with this reality, just simply say when doubts arise, not to. In this not to, that's TWO, by the way, nothing is separate, nothing is excluded. No matter when or where, enlightenment is entering this truth. And this truth is beyond extension or diminution in time or space. In it, a single thought is 10,000 years. Emptiness here, emptiness there. but the infinite universe stands always before your eyes, infinitely large and infinitely small, no difference, where definitions have vanished and no boundaries are seen. So too with being and non-being. Don't waste time in doubts and arguments that have nothing to do with this. One thing, all things, move among and intermingle without distinction. To live in this realization is to be without anxiety about non-perfection. To live in this space is the road to non-duality, because the non-dual is one with the trusting mind. Words, the way is beyond language, for in it there is no yesterday, no tomorrow, no today. The end.
Yeah, there's a lot of, very complicated concepts that can get very confusing when you're thinking about duality versus non-duality. Duality being separate from the unity of non-duality. If I, see what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you get into the non-dual state of mind? How do you get into the dual state of mind? And do you want to be in either one for how long? Gnosticism, gnosis, unity work with God. I think it's like a hypnosis trance. And I think it's like the alpha brainwave state or something, like they call it the movie theater brainwave state. Welcome, Toast. You just missed Rachel reading from the link above. It's called the Shin Shin Ming, which is a Zen document. Zen is basically now, N-O-W, or G-O-D. That's what I like to say.
Yeah, what I loved about it was, because oftentimes in this arena, things are paradoxical, or it seems paradoxical to us. But I really like how it was capturing those paradoxes, and it's something that reminds me of when I was constantly seeking and pushing to somehow live in the present or live in the now or whatever, as they say. I was coming at it from an intellectual pursuit. And I just kept getting frustrated. And then I was like, one day I was like, this is all bullshit. And I'm just going to live my life. And then that's when things sort of clicked or started to click. So that's the way it often seems.
Daniel, what did you think about the document? You hypnotized him. He's sleeping. Toast. Good afternoon. What are you doing today?
Just nothing. I'm just shopping around, seeing if there's any interesting conversations happening.
Oh, this is the best conversation, the most universal conversation. You can have the lowest IQ and still engage in this conversation. In fact, the lower your IQ, perhaps that's the after effect. We lower IQ here. We don't just do the words game.
Isn't Andrew Dittman something or somebody? Isn't that somebody?
That's me. Go to adriandittman.com to see more of me.
I thought it was somebody else.
Maybe you need to investigate. Let me Google that for you.
I can Google it just fine. I thought I already heard the name somewhere.
Yeah, it's Elon Musk's burner account on X. It's his pen name that he's been using for many years now on X.
See, that's probably why. There we go.
Yep. And so adriandittman.com is my artistic capture of Elon talking like the fool that he is on X every night. He's not a fool, but I'm just saying that. He is a fool, but if you were worth $900 billion, would you go online and embarrass yourself every night by letting people know that you're incredibly manic?
I'm very familiar with Elon's postings.
Yeah, I think
very familiar.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are fearful. That he has. People are putting memes up that he's controlling Trump. That and everybody on the left is saying that Elon is controlling everything now. All they need to do is go listen to Adrian Dittman every night to know that he's, not controlling everything, that no one really controls anything, that it's all propaganda that they're creating. And but the terrifying fact is the country's actually completely bankrupt, and there is no money to fund any of this shit. I mean, the money should be used to pay down the debt so we can get back to a savings account with some actual savings in it. Anyways, what do you think about the financial economic crisis?
I'm waiting for the total implosion of it. You know, it's going to be at least 10 times worse than 08, easily.
So wait, do you think real estate prices will crash?
Oh yeah, another real estate crash is like inevitable, easily.
Oof.
That's already a foregone conclusion. Just as much as like we're bankrupt today, yeah, the housing market's definitely gonna crash again.
I can't wait, because then I won't have to file Chapter 13. I can just file Chapter 7, and then they can't liquidate my home and force me into the streets in a bankruptcy.
I don't know, man. They're probably gonna change a lot of rules coming up pretty soon once the financial conditions get, severe enough.
Yeah. What, you think bankruptcy laws are going to change?
Hey, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, they're going to have to like completely completely redo a lot of our, what we call the financial markets and what's possible and what's not. I mean, we're going to have to leave the dollar standard just for starters. We're going to have to use something else as a monetary system.
Well, I mean, historically speaking, do you really think that that's... How is our dollar not what they've always been doing throughout all time? I mean, even the Romans, when a new emperor would rise to power, they would mint, 100,000 coins with their new image on it and send the new coinage to the provinces. I mean, I'm just saying, whether it's a fiat or a coin, I mean, the thing with the coin is so much labor and cost goes into mining the money versus the cost of printing paper, which is really just canvas sheets of, it's just canvases. I mean, it's just artistic. Anyways, yeah.
Well, think about how many dollars are just digital now. How much money out there is just digital.
Yeah, I mean,
numbers on the screen.
Hundreds of trillions.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad how much digital quote unquote money's out there.
So that's the thing is I mean, there's a pension crisis. If you go to us.clock.org and you look at all the net assets of America, each person has like $600,000. But if they were to liquidate the government, sell all the assets, everybody still owes the government $10,000. I mean, how do you differentiate between a government like our federal monopoly and the banking monopoly? Because aren't they just completely intertwined, especially after 08? When they bailed out all the banks, because that means that the banks are insolvent. Even if they claim they have $1 trillion in deposits, they can't actually pay it out because they don't even have the cash to do it.
Yeah, there's nothing there that I'm going to deny. That's all true as far as by my lights.
I mean, so I don't think there's a solution, though. I don't think there's a solution. I think that Bitcoiners who think that the Federal Reserve and the U.S. government is going to take on a reserve position of Bitcoin and drive the price of Bitcoin to, 200,000 a coin, 500,000 a coin, $1 million a coin, I think they're retarded.
Yeah, I definitely don't trust the crypto bros and their whole their whole beliefs that Bitcoin is the savior of Earth and it's going to fix the financial conditions in the West. It's not some silver bullet that they think it is. It can easily be changed.
Do you think that Bitcoin maximalists who think that Bitcoin will save humanity are essentially utilizing Bitcoin as a replacement for God?
I thought we were still being realistic about, I thought we were still trying to keep our conversation in reality.
I mean, the thing is, I think that, God is a useful therapeutic tool. And I think to a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, talking about Bitcoin all day is a way to distract them from their, from their pain and suffering.
Well, what are you talking about? There's been a lot of investors in crypto that have, done very well the last, 7-8 years.
Those are the exceptions. I'm talking about the people that, anyways, I'm talking about the Bitcoin room here on Clubhouse. If you've ever listened to it, with Brittany.
Oh, I mean, cryptocurrency Bitcoin's a lot bigger than like just this app, right? Or what people say about it on this app. But what else here? Yeah, whatever. Money's God, right? We worship the dollar like it's our God, and that's been happening for decades. So clearly, people worship Bitcoin like it's the new God, the new money that they can invest in and fix their lives with. But I don't know.
That's smart.
I've talked to investors, right, who are very pleased with themselves with what Bitcoin's been doing the last few years.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, but the thing is, if you were buying Bitcoin at 50,000 and you made 100% on your investment, I don't know what that time frame is, based on the chart, but like you could look at stocks and like, dude, you could have bought Nvidia and made 400%. So like, why are you so fucking excited about Bitcoin? It's irrelevant. It's just, what's your ROI? What did you buy? What did you sell? And what's, I guess, your risk, quotient. So I don't know. I just kind of hate the Bitcoin room on here. I feel like it's a lot of toxic projection. There's no humility. There's a lot of, I think some of it's performative, but the thing is I record stuff and I post it all over the internet. So it's like, to me, I'm glad when somebody puts on a very cocky, arrogant display because I want to publish that,
Oh yeah. I think I did visit your website and I saw like a phone screen with all the Clubhouse users on there. I think that's what I remember seeing on the website.
Yeah.
Because you would publish that on your website. Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I remembering it correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. I think life is short. I mean, I bootleg Clubhouse, but I also bootleg Elon Musk. I mean, you go to adriandittman.com and watch 100 videos of Elon, talking about everything under the sun.
Yeah. No, I was just remembering, but I don't know. I mean, like there's a lot of really, really unintellectual people on here, and that obviously poisons the rest of the community. If you're talking about like religion or atheism or crypto or the economy or politics, what have you. I mean, it's just like if anywhere there's a room of like more than 15 people, you're gonna hear some really, really like dumb takes.
Yeah.
And so I just I think that's just the assumption. It's like a presupposition you should start coming on with on Clubhouse. Like you're gonna just run into a lot of really non-intelligent people.
But do you think those people are here to try to like parasitize, the smarter people, or are they just predators themselves looking for dopamine?
They're just average folks. They're just average folks looking for some sort of entertainment that's not being offered in their life. Yeah, and obviously Clubhouse has made this sort of like anonymous social interaction a lot easier and streamlined compared to like other platforms. It's extremely easy and user friendly to use Clubhouse, but at the same time with like the ease of access, it allows a lot of like riffraff and just people who ought not be speaking publicly onto giving them some sort